the end of times? Are we going to face the time of Dajjal coming soon? Now, the thing is, with Dajjal coming out, you have to have, according to the hadith, you have to have a few things happening before that. So you've got this emergence of this individual that comes, who fills the earth with justice, just as it was filled with injustice beforehand. And he's the Imam Mahdi. Now, wherever you find descriptions of Imam Mahdi in the hadith, that hadith is weak, and wherever you find the word Imam Mahdi, or the individual Mahdi we mentioned, there's no description. And that's the problem with every single hadith about Imam Mahdi. So the scholars have generally said that all those hadith about talking about this individual with the description is this one individual who's Imam Mahdi. So Imam Mahdi has to arrive, and he has to emerge before the coming of Dajjal. Now again, even the Imam Mahdi, when he is, emerges, what we mean is that when he emerges, there's going to be a lot of fighting that will take place on this. I mean, there's fighting before that. So that's another thing that you have to bear in mind, which is before Imam Mahdi, the Muslims are in a lot of turmoil. There's a lot of fighting that are happening with non-Muslims that are divided into two. There are a party of them that are with the Muslims, party of them that are against the Muslims, and there's many sort of fights that happen over a number of years. There's even peace in between, and there's fighting again, and so on. So all that has to take place before finally the Muslims are defeated. And then there's a strong hadith in Abu Dawud that talks about a succession of different Muslim leaders for the whole Ummah, this is. And one of them, the last one has passed away, and they're looking to appoint a new one, and they can't do it. And one of those individuals then runs away to Makkah al-Mukarramah, and according to a separate hadith, according to this hadith, they go all the way down to Makkah and they give bay'ah to him, right? Because he's the individual who doesn't want to become the leader. Anyway, how do they know he's the Imam Mahdi? They give him the bay'ah in front of the Kaaba. Is because of another hadith that says that a group from Asham will come all the way down to try and kill Imam Mahdi and his followers. But when they reach a place called Bayda by Medina Munawwara, Bayda, the whole army will be sucked into the earth, the beginning and the end of them. And that's how you know the true emergence of Imam Mahdi, is at this one point. I know there's going to be a lot of false claims of, Imam Mahdi coming out, but this is one critical and crucial thing that most people actually oversee, which is you got to have that incident of the whole army being swallowed from the beginning to the end, no matter how big they are, in a place called Bayda by Medina. When that happens, they know that individual they gave bay'ah to, they gave a pledge to, is Imam Mahdi. So now Imam Mahdi, he will immediately go around the different countries, and he will bring them under his control, and he will bring a lot of peace on the earth. So the earth is going to see a lot of peace before the emergence of Dajjal. Okay, now the coming of Ya'juj Ma'juj comes after Isa alayhi salam comes to the earth and he kills Dajjal. So according to that hadith, Imam Mahdi can't take on Dajjal when Dajjal emerges. And then Isa alayhi salam comes down, and Isa alayhi salam is the one that takes on Dajjal and his whole army. And this is the battle of the Armageddon and so on, a massive battle, and he takes them out. And then the emergence of Ya'juj Ma'juj happens. So we've got this from various ahadith. So you've got the proxy wars, right, with the Muslims and others and so on. Then you've got, and again, like I said, there's going to be sometimes they win, sometimes they're defeated and so on. There's a lot of turmoil going on. And then you've got the emergence of this individual who's Imam Mahdi. Then you've got the Dajjal. Then you've got the Ya'juj Ma'juj. Now, if you hear contrary to this, I do understand that there's going to be a lot of views out there contrary to some of this. Then you've got to understand that this sequence I've given is from various ahadith. You've got scholars out there on YouTube and other places where they're talking about Dajjal is only a system. Now that is wrong. Dajjal is a system, yes, that is correct. But there's a Dajjalic system, but Dajjal himself is a being, is an actual being that will emerge. So there is a system before Dajjal, and then Dajjal emerges. You've got another theory about Ya'juj Ma'juj being they've already emerged basically. They're the Europeans, or they've come out of the Caucasus and so on. I take that as a pinch of salt. If you go to the Caucasus, go to a place like Dagestan, and you will see some of the strongest Muslims you will find on the earth. Some of the strongest, Muslims. They actually let the Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'in in. And they're almost 100% Muslim nation. That's in the Caucasus. Look at, in the Caucasus again, look at Chechnya. In the Caucasus again, look at other areas around there, very strong Muslims. Now, for you to say that these people who are white, the whitest of white you're going to get is from those countries. Are you saying that they are the ones that are Dajjal? Are you saying that they are the ones that are Ya'juj Ma'juj? I mean, those scholars who've written those series, they really need to go and visit some of these countries. And you go and see the Muslims, go and visit them, see the history, and then your theory that you said that, oh, they've emerged already and they're the white Europeans that have come across, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. How could from the Caucasus, from even some of these places, they've emerged? And I know they're saying about this. Look, there's another one which is that there's a river, there's a lake in Russia, and it's one of the lakes that will be, Ya'juj Ma'juj will come out and they'll drink from it, right? And that lake at the moment has barely got any water in it. Now, the thing is, if you look at the history of that lake goes up and that lake goes down. Sometimes there's water in there, sometimes there isn't. Now, you've got to look at the full history. You can't just take one little bit and then say, yeah, this is our theory, we're basing on this, and that Ya'juj Ma'juj have come out because that lake is now dry, or it's almost dry. No. That's not the case. You have to take a lot of consideration, a lot of history and other facts in your hands before you make that. And one of the primary things is that you've got the hadith talking about the emergence of Ya'juj Ma'juj as a fitna in the time of Isa alayhi salam after he's taken out Dajjal. So again, look, there's going to be scholarly debates on this and different opinion, but generally from the hadith you've got this kind of sequence, okay, which I've given you, and that should help you understand that the times of Dajjal could be near, but they're not that close. Okay, we've got to have a few years. We don't know how many years for all these things to happen. We don't know how many years or decades they've got to they take place, and then it could be centuries even. Who knows? Until you've got the emergence of Dajjal and so on. I mean, even I just want to share this with you. In Damascus, when the Tatars came down and they were ravishing the Muslim lands, and they were just killing in their way as many Muslims as they found. In Damascus, in the main masjid, the ulama sat down, they closed the doors, and they had a big meeting. And you know what they said? This is some of the biggest ulama of the time. They said, you know what? From all the signs that we've seen, this is the time that Imam Mahdi is going to come. And they locked themselves in, waiting for Imam Mahdi. Did he come? No, he didn't come. It's been 1,000 years since that incident, or more or less near 1,000 years since that incident, and didn't emerge. So, be careful in what you believe, because you've got to be able to take the hadith in a totality. A lot of these things, people will give you a snippet of a hadith and they'll make you believe in one thing, but they'll miss out on another whole thing. Be careful in what you actually believe, and who's out there giving you this, because if you don't take all the hadith in consideration, you're going to start believing in stuff that's not actually true. So may Allah Azza wa Jal guide all of us, and may He keep us safe and safe from all these fitan and tribulations, and may He give us tawfiq to do a'mal and actions. That's one of the biggest things that the Prophet wanted us to do. Just let me say this before I end this here, is that all these signs of the last hour is not because you get so engrossed in the signs of the last hour. It's because you're supposed to be fearful that the signs are going to come, so you're supposed to then be quick to do your actions of your a'mal and your actions of Islam. That's the whole point. So may Allah give us tawfiq for that. Ameen.